We are live. Yay! Here with the Black Motivation Broadcast. This is an episode of Midweek Motivation. We are here with KaNikki Jakarta, Poet Laureate of Alexandria, Virginia, the first African American woman Poet Laureate, author, amazing, of three novels,
A memoir.
memoir, a
I
short
just
poetry book. We could go on and on. This woman is fabulous, okay? And we are going to hop straight into this interview. So, KaNikki, what drew you to writing poetry?
my mama.
Your
My
mom?
mama drew me into. My mom made me into a poet
Yes.
because when I was in her womb, she
Yes.
read Nikki Giovanni poetry to me,
Oh,
and she thought of naming me Nikki Giovanni,
yeah.
but decided in the end to name me KaNikki instead.
Hmm.
So poetry has been in my life since the womb,
Yes.
and my dad was a big Dr. Seuss fan.
Oh.
Everybody called him Sam. His middle name was Samuel, and everybody called him Sam. And he would be like, "I do not like green eggs and ham. Do not like it, Sam. I am." He was a big Maya Angelou fan too. So they both put poetry into my life when I was a child. So I always liked like the rhyme scheme of things. And when I went to a private Christian school
Yeah.
in elementary school, we had poetry for a class.
Okay.
So this is how my poetry career began. I started to get into the poetry, write poetry, and into poetry contests. And when I was a child, and actually was winning those contests until somebody else won, and then I decided to write my own poem. So that is how it happened. Third grade. Third grade.
From the early beginning.
Early. Yep.
We started out early.
Uh-huh.
So, what are three highlights from your career in the arts that you would like to share with us?
Well, that's one.
One.
That's one because it really introduced me into like speaking on a stage.
Yes.
Because it was competition. So that was the beginning, and to push me into writing my own works, even though I was in the third grade. So that was the beginning. When I was in my 20s, Love Jones came out.
Wow, yeah.
And I saw that and I thought, where? People do this? Where can this happen? I was living in the 757 area at the time.
Okay.
And there was a open mic, which I didn't even know what it was. One of my coworkers told me about it. And she was like, we should go to this. So all my coworkers and I, we got together and we went to it. I had my little poem, and that was the beginning of, as an adult, writing poetry and reciting it, right? Yeah. And then I moved to this area meaning the DMV, which is DC, Maryland, Virginia. Yeah. I am in Northern Virginia now. I was in Southern Virginia and found out about all the DC places when DC was a really, really chocolate city, right? Yeah. Yes. So I started going to those and then booked my first feature.
Awesome.
So, yeah. So, and it's been all, not all, downhill, but all since then.
All ascension from that. And so before we go into some advice, what inspired you to first write a novel?
Well, you know what? I was writing a short story of sorts, right? I had a friend named Mavis, and she used to she's still a security guard, but she used to be working at night, and she used to be like, KaNikki, write me some stuff that I can read, while I'm here overnight. So I started writing, and it was turning into a novel.
Wow.
So I sent it to Mary B. Morrison.
Okay.
And I said, is this, something good or whatever? Yeah. And she was like, yes, you should keep writing. This has been many, many, many. I think this was like 2003, maybe. Okay. So I like that she wrote series. So I was like, I should write a series. And I'm so long-winded, it's not going to happen in one book anyway. So that's how it happened. I give all praise to Mavis for wanting to read some stuff at night, and then it turned into, a novel.
That is so amazing. So what advice do you have to give to other aspiring authors?
I would say keep writing. If you have a book in your heart, that it should be on the page. So I think that you just have to think about what your end is going to be. Like, how am I going to end this book? And then write till you get to the end. And then publish it and let people read it. Because what's good does it, because I meet people all the time, they say, I wrote this book 10 years ago and my book is finished, but what good is it doing in your notebook? Like, if nobody ever reads it, right?
So true.
Yeah.
I had to get that book out too. It took me a while. We're not going to say how many years, but it did. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, what good is it going to do? We don't want to discover you like, oh, let me find these books, 40 years down the line. It's like, oh, she wrote a book and we never knew.
Right. Yes. So what would you tell yourself if you could go back in time to the beginning of your career?
My career started in 3rd grade. I'll go back and say, if you continue on this path, you will make history.
Hey.
Because I can't say, hey, if you continue on the path, you'll be the first Black poet laureate of Alexandria. I can't give it up like that. So I gotta be like, if you continue on this path, little girl, because Back to the Future, I always watch Back to the Future. It's like one of my favorite shows. I always watch it when it's on. Right. So I would go back and be like, continue, and you will be in the history books.
And you will be in the history books. Yes. Black girl magic.
Black girl magic, yes.
Black girl magic. So tell us a little bit about your quarterly workshop that you do and your Book, Boys, and Poets hosting night.
Oh, I do. Okay, so let me see, which one should I start with first? I should start with Bus Boys. Okay, so Bus Boys and Poets, I think they came around in 2005. I think so. I'm not really sure. Maybe 2005. Don't quote me on that. But anyway, they had a building right on 14th and V, which is still there, which is right on, U Street was the place for poetry at the time.
Yes.
So they came and we were like, what's going to happen? What is this? And we found out it's called Bus Boys and Poets. So if it's Bus Boys and Poets, must be where the poets go. Yes. So let's go here. And then I met Andy Shalal, and I didn't want to host in DC. Okay. And so they had that one place at the time. And then a friend of mine at the time, she was hosting the slam. She started a slam at 11 o'clock, and she asked me to assist her with that. So I started there helping her, like, keep time and all that. And then when they opened up the Virginia place, I was like, when you have an opening in Virginia, that's when I will host. So when they had an opening, they called me, and I can't remember how many years. I don't want to lie. So it's been a lot of years that I've been with Bus Boys and Poets. So I was actually able to go there. It's close to my home. So I wanted to host in Virginia. So I went there and started being one of the hosts, and I've been there ever since. So I host there every first Mondays. Right now, since we're at home, we're doing it virtually on live on Instagram, but I'm there every first Monday. I call it KaNikki Harmony because I love. So that's why I started there. And when I first moved to this area, actually 20 years ago, a little bit over 20 years ago now, I was looking for workshops for women, which I found. However, those workshops were more for gay women than straight women. So, I mean, I was there, but anything that I went to, this is what it was. So I said, well, where are all the inclusive places? So that didn't exist. So I said, well, April is National Poetry Month. If you know that a lot of poets, they do what's called 30-30, where you write one poem a day for 30 days. So I decided to do something similar to that in March, because it's Women's Month, and say we don't have to write a poem a day, but we should write every day to, for, and about to inspire women. Yeah. So I started it online. So my assistant Keisha said we should do this in person, and I said nobody's Nobody's trying to come to, workshop, whatever. And she was like, well, so she called Barnes and Noble, which is like a half a mile from my house, and said, I talked to the lady, I sent her your press kit, and she said, come in for a meeting. So I went for a meeting, talked to her, and she said, sure, we would love to have it here. So we were there for a year.
Wow.
And then after that, I won a contest. It was called Dashing Words in Alexandria, where if you win, your poem is on the buses and trolleys for April and May, right? So I went to the Athenaeum where they had the program for the people who won, and I performed a piece. And then they said, KaNikki, would you like to come here and do like a reading or an open mic or something, you want to read from your novels or something? I said, I want to do all of that.
Yeah.
So I came and I gave them a proposal and said, hey, would you like to have the Write Like a Woman workshop here? And they said at first, why is it all for women? And I said, because it's called Write Like a Woman. And then they were like, okay, well, we'll give you 2 and see how it goes. So we did the 2. And then they said we can continue for the year. And then it's been 4 years. So in total, it's been 5 years, and it's been wonderful. So this is where I house it, and I love the Athenaeum, and they have been really good to us. And I mean, the women who come, they network with each other.
Yeah.
They do other things. It inspires, because I want to like make other women, because I always say it's from ages 18 through 100. So I've had, a 17-year-old slide in there, but it's been younger and older, all ethnicities, and the commonality is we're all women. So I wanted to focus on the woman. So it's been wonderful, and a lot of other spin-off workshops as well that I've been doing, publishing workshops and writing workshops. And because the men are always saying, when are you going to have something for us? And I say, well, you need to find you a man to do that for you. So then I have other workshops. So yeah, it's a good ride that I'm still on.
So what memories stick out for you? What's one moment that you can say, I remember this and it touched me during the workshop? If you can share that.
Doing a workshop?
Or during the Busboys events.
Or doing the Busboys events? That really touched me doing, let me see, a workshop. I mean, the workshops are so emotional all the time. I always say, if we can make it through a workshop without somebody crying, and it's not always sad tears, it's like release tears. Sometimes the stuff that they write about. One of the elders there, she wrote about, she's a Caucasian lady, and she wrote about this Black family that lived down the street from her when she was younger, and someone burned, because I guess they moved into the neighborhood, and someone burned their home.
Wow.
And she said she hadn't thought about it in all of those years. It was very emotional for her, so it really, but the piece that she wrote was so touching. I can't remember exactly like what it was about, but it brought back that memory for her, and it was something that she shared, and then she brought that person back, to life for us. So yeah, that was really moving for everybody, not just me. Yeah.
And so moving on, how does it feel to be the first Black poet laureate of Alexandria, Virginia?
It feels splendid. I was just had another interview, and I was saying that I had to settle into that. I mean, into the poet laureate role was not a settle. It was settling into the first Black poet laureate, because I was just like, I'm the poet laureate. But then when Fairfax County Magazine did a piece on me, it was, a photo of me and the first African American poet laureate. And then it was such a big deal for like everybody when I realized, oh, I really made history. This is really a big deal. So it had to settle on me first and say, okay, this is something. Because I was saying that it's not about, a Black person doing it. It's about, the work, but it is also opening the doors for other people to get into. So yeah, I'm gonna leave the door open behind me when I leave it.
Step in. So, what are you currently doing to serve the community, whether it be the poet community or otherwise?
I am one of the essential workers. So
yes,
I am still working. So that is a community serve. I do. I have two. I always say I have two full-time jobs. I'm a full-time poet, and for full-time, I am a human resource specialist as well. So I hire people for support staff for medical and the military. So yeah, I'm doing that. So that's for the community. And after we were quarantined, of course, I took it to virtual. I said, okay, well, I had all these things scheduled because it happened right before National Poetry Month, which is April. And I had all of these things scheduled, and I started to look at them and say, okay, so which one of these can I bring online? What can I do? So, I mean, I've been online. I'm presenting 2 workshops a month, along with the writing workshops, and I have a monthly open mic, and that's Laura DeFranco and we do an open mic called Open Mic and Spotlight, and I'm still doing the Bus Boys and Poets every first Monday. So a lot. It hasn't stopped. It hasn't stopped.
It is just continuing.
Listen, my favorite song by Michael Jackson is "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough," and I haven't had enough, so I can't stop. Got to keep going. Yeah.
Awesome. So how has the pandemic affected you, aside from having to bring things online, and how would you like to encourage others during this time frame?
It has given me back time to be in my home and really just think about what I want to do as a person, how I want to spend my time, and it's given me some time to organize. And the pandemic per se, because I haven't stopped working.
You haven't stopped working.
My situation is different than a lot of people's because I still get up every day and go to work. So that hasn't changed. I'm not stuck in the house, but of course, since I say I'm full-time, I have 2 full-time jobs. A lot of the things that I had to go out, I would have to come home, eat, get ready, get dressed, go out, come home. You know what I mean? So that has, whereas I'm now just sitting in the living room.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So when I say it's giving me back time, it's giving me back the travel time, and it's giving me a lot of headspace to think in. So it hasn't been that's all the upside, because I want to tell you something positive. So that has been all the upsides. Of course, with the downsides is I miss all my friends and my family, and I miss flying and traveling, and it's a good time to save some money. So
it's definitely a good time to do that. Well, we have come to a close. That was the last question for our Black Motivation broadcast. So second to last question. Sorry. So what words would you like to leave with our audience to close out this episode of Midweek Motivation?
Okay, since we were talking about the pandemic, I'm going to say, because I am a spiritual person and a believer, I'm going to say that no matter what it feels like, no matter what it looks like, God is still in control.
Amen. Amen. So how can we find you on social media? How can we follow you and support your mission?
Yes, please do. I have books available. I'm available for booking. If you visit my website, KaNikkiJ.com, there's a booking tab there, and the books are there. You can follow me there, and I'm KaNikki J on social media, except on Instagram, where I'm KaNikki_J, because somebody was trying to be me. And
All right.
Thank you so much. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here with us. And thank you for everything that you're doing and all the ways that you're serving. So you can follow us at Invest Olive LLC on Facebook and Instagram, or you can visit our website at www.investolivellc.org to find out more information about my organization. So this has been an episode of the Black Motivation Broadcast, Midweek Motivation. Thank you so much for everyone tuning in. We are out. Thank you. Bye.